I gave myself a single football field and tried to turn it into not only a functioning theme park, but a profitable one. Gift shop entrances, money funnel restaurants, queue line carnage, every decision was engineered to squeeze every penny. And if you think this park is already looking full, just wait until I try and squeeze in a roller coaster. Welcome to Planet Coaster 2, a game where you build expansive theme parks and roller coasters to rival Disneyland. But I have decided today that I will be squeezing a theme park into a plot 90 times smaller than that of Disneyland California. I'm going to use my absurd engineering skills to design a park to fit into this tiny plot and extract money from my customers faster than an oil executive can bribe a climate summit. Yes, I have become a property developer. If you ask the panel of people at my last job interview why I didn't get the job, you'll quickly realise how important first impressions are. Now I want to avoid that kind of disaster again, so I'm going to make sure that the park has a good first impression. It needs to set the tone immediately, and it needs to be something functional, efficient and memorable. I've got to communicate that this is a theme park, it's where you want to come and spend your day. So I'm going to theme it like a Disney castle. But for copyright reasons, it's not a Disney castle, it's just a castle. Now when you're building an entrance, you need to make sure that you consider the important things like guest flow. As everyone's coming and going through this one little building, I need to make sure that guest flow is managed properly. So to do that, I'm going to funnel as many people through as small a space as I possibly can. And I'm going to do that using these shelves. And you might be asking, why do I want to squeeze as many people through such a small gap as I possibly can? Well, the answer's simple. If I force them all through this tiny little gap here, then they're forced to look at the merchandise. Yes, they'll have no choice but to look at all the stuff I can sell them on a shelf. They're not entering a park, they're entering a revenue tunnel. Some parks give guest fireworks, I'm giving them a 70% markup on plushies. Yes, buy the King Coaster plushie. That's what you will do. That's how you'll know you've had a great day out, because you would have bought some cheap tat from China that I put a massive markup on. Look at all these people, all come to experience the magnificence of our gift shop, because that's all that's in the park. Look, they're admiring the balloons already. Got to make a big decision on what colour they want. If you take a look here, we've had 0 customers and we're already losing money. That's minus $38. We're losing money, but here come our first customers. What are they going to buy? How much will they spend? Will we finally turn some cash? Oh my goodness, we have a sale. Yes, we're in the money. We have actually made money here, but I can't really go to the board and say we've sold to only 6 people. So I need to get more customers into the gift shop. And what better way to do that than have some entertainment? I'm going to drive more guests inside the park by providing them something gentle, something welcoming, and something most importantly, emotionally manipulative. I don't want rides, I want emotional laundering devices. You walk in, you feel warm and fuzzy, you queue up in the blazing sunshine for hopefully hours is the ideal aim, and then you go on the ride, it's a fantastic experience, you're all happy, and bam, you're willing to spend more. I'm not entertaining them, I'm conditioning them. To maximise the number of people going through the emotional laundering devices, I need a ride that appeals to the most people that I possibly can, and ideally families with children. And that's because children are leeches, they demand things, they're needy, oh feed me, oh I want water. So to do that, I'm going to provide rides that children will enjoy and the parents have no choice but to go along with, and then when the child needs something, I'm there to offer that need. Here are our latest money extraction devices. Yes, I've got a chair swing and what is called a tiny eye, which is basically a little Ferris wheel, which I got dirt cheap because it's really small, but has massive popularity, because now all these people are going to come pouring into the gift shop with theme park attached. Hey, these people have arrived at the park with their balloons already. We can't be having that. I'm going to pop them. So, as the people start to pour into the park, the rides are ready to start manipulating their emotions and extracting as much cash from them as possible whilst doing so. Look, if the game sometimes tells me the price is too high, which is fair enough, I won't rinse every penny from them, they can still spend money in the gift shop on the way out, so I will fine-tune these prices to extract every penny from them without being too expensive to a point where they won't ride. And just like that, the kiddie rides are doing exactly what they were designed to do. They're not designed for fun, they're designed to be bait, to draw as many people through the gift shop as they possibly can. The only fun you'll find here is the ride in the ambulance after you've been told the price at the checkout. The gift shop is very small, and that's because the park is very small. I'm trying to fit an entire theme park into a football field. What more do you expect? But I'm also determined to extract as much money in as many unethical ways as I possibly can, due to my British heritage. So I'm going to squeeze in not one but two more gift shops, and I'm going to place them right at the exit of this ride, and that is so I can extract any money from these people getting off, where in a moment of delusion, due to the joy and happiness from this amazing ride they've just experienced, they're going to go, I'm going to buy a souvenir to remind me of such a fantastic ride in a field in suburban England somewhere. Looking at our park stats, we've made $1,036 in profit, which is great, but we have more land to use in our football field, so let's cram in more rides and really turn this into a destination theme park. Now, Planet Coaster 2 has a thing called Ride Prestige. Basically, it considers how good the ride is and its sort of scenery bonus. So taking our tiny eye here, we can see the scenery bonus is 1%. And when you click on this overlay, you can see that it doesn't like what's behind it, mostly because there's nothing there. It's just this path and you can see the toilets, and that is not an exciting view. So there is a way to get around this and make the theme park look better, and that is by, of course, giving it a theme. Hence the name Theme Park. I know, wow, I'm really going places, blowing your mind. So to do that, I'm going to use some foliage. I'm going to give it some lovely hedges and all sorts of things to make it look very, very pretty. As you can see, I've added some trees, some hedges and some pretty flowers, and that has boosted our scenery rating to 15%, which is good, but still a long way to go. So I've added even more, and now we've got even more pretty flowers, and this weird barn thing. It was just an item in the game, and I thought, you know what, that is the exact sort of scenery our park is going to use. It looks cool, and was quite easy to put in. So that is our little tiny eye, and the area is vastly improved. I have also taken the opportunity to hide the toilets in this lovely little barn thing. Look at it, it's sort of fairy tale-ish, I guess. To be able to call this a theme park in a football pitch, I'm going to need to make sure that I have an iconic attraction that all theme parks should have, and that is, of course, the Big Ferris Wheel, or, as I'm going to call it, Big Ol' Wheelie Boy. Yes, Big Ol' Wheelie Boy needs to fit in, but of course, the space is very small, so I'm going to have to try and squeeze it up against this restaurant I put in earlier, and to try and keep a maximum amount of path flow so I can keep guests flowing through the shops and all the eateries, I'm going to keep this ride right to the edge of the plot and try and fit the queue in and the path accordingly. And how much might one pay for this Ferris wheel? Well, your guess is as good as mine. I don't have a clue, so let's see how far this ride will let me go. Oh my, $6 to see some roofs? I'm going straight to hell for that one. Or place on the board. Oh yeah. All those blades of grass, and none of them are turning me a profit, so I think I'm going to squeeze another ride onto this little plot in here, and what better ride than a frill ride? Yes, I need something thrilling to entice even more guests into the gift shop with theme park attached. It's a little bit of a squeeze. I'm going to have to try and find a way to get the queue in, but I reckon this tiny little plot here will be enough to just cram as many people in as I possibly can whilst they wait to pay an extortionate price to go on what is effectively a funfair ride. Our hard work has already turned our $1,000 profit into $5,000, which is great, but our work can't stop now. We've got to really impress the shareholders. As guest volume increases and resale value is through the roof, we need something with more intensity, more drama, and probably more liability risk. No, I don't want insurance. We'll take the liability. At a certain point, you stop building for guests and you start building for fear, for scale, and most importantly, the shareholders watching from a private helicopter. So it's time to add in an absolute icon to the park, a beacon to the sky, a giant pendulum of profit. It's the ultimate distraction. While they're busy watching this thing swing from side to side, they become hypnotized and they forget where all their money's just gone. We're left with this tiny little plot of land at the back of the park, and what better thing to fill it with than something that will elevate us from weird funfair in a field to actual theme park. So we're adding in a roller coaster. Yes, I have no idea how it's going to fit. This space is far too small for a roller coaster, but I'm going to try anyway. It might break the game, it's almost certainly going to break my mind, but at the end of the day it will hopefully break our bank balance too by bringing in so much cash I won't know what to do with it. Yes, I'm well on the way to becoming the CEO. Ah yeah. Now, I'm going to need to do some serious engineering, or, as I normally call it, absurd engineering. I've got to fit a roller coaster in not even a football field this time, in what is a tiny little corner of the football field that is left. So I think we're going to need some clever solutions, and I think the best way to do that is a vertical lift hill. I don't have room to go for a normal lift hill, so we're going vertical, and we're adding in some fun immediately by a beyond vertical drop. So that's the lift hill problem sorted, but now we've got to deal with the other glaring problem. There's no space for the ride anywhere, because I put in that giant pendulum of profit and have cost any space for this roller coaster. So I'm going to try and squeeze this ride in, but I want it to be survivable. We can't go having guests being injured. That really won't go well in the lawsuit, so I'm going to design this ride to actually be comfortable and survivable. Yes, a ride that is actually survivable in Planet Coaster 2. Who knew it was possible? I thought it was just for making stupid coasters 500 foot tall. Thankfully, I've left myself this tiny little sliver of land behind the giant pendulum of profit, and for that I'm going to try and turn around behind it, but I'm going to add some added fun by doing it upside down. Yes, we're having our first inversion in this weird dive loop turn. Yes, it's quite a cool inversion, I think. We sort of turn upside down and then go round the corner, and that is going to look really cool, and I imagine quite fun on the ride, especially as you're diving underneath the pendulum of profit. I want to maximise fun on this ride, mostly to encourage more people to ride it. So for that, I'm adding in this little hill, which will give you something called airtime. Basically, when you're thrown out of your seat, you feel all weightless. That's called airtime, which is great, but that has created a new problem for me. I am now stuck in this corner. There is now so little room between the toilet block, the substation, the neighbour's house and the chair swing that I now need to find a way to turn the ride around, and I think the best way to do that is to go upside down again. Yes, we're adding in another loop. Hopefully this time we can sort of do a half loop and then turn our way out of it to try and get out of this sticky situation. So let's see if I can pull it off in a way the riders will survive. Unlike that job interview, I'd say that was a massive success. It completed the circuit perfectly. It is exactly what I wanted it to be. Oh my gosh, it just exploded! Well, that reminds me of one thing. If you enjoyed that car crash, then you must be enjoying the one you're watching right now. So make sure you hit that like button down below. But now it's time to move on to the next problem I'm facing. Yes, I'm out of space once again. There's nowhere for this ride to go, so I'm going to take it above the path. And you might be thinking, oh, is that going to make it dark and dingy? And I'm going to say to you, of course not. What I'm doing is I'm improving nature. You can see the sky pretty much everywhere. It's boring, you've seen it 1,000 times before, but have you seen 900 tons of steel racing above your head? No, of course not. So therefore, I can improve on nature and make the sky even better by putting a roller coaster above your head. I am once again out of space. I know, shock horror, who knew fitting a theme park into a football field 90 times smaller than Disneyland California would be difficult. But hey, here we are. I wish someone had warned me at the start. So I'm going to try and get the ride to finish in this tiny little space here. Yes, I've got to get from this height up here down to the station level down there. Safely at that. I need to add some fun, probably another inversion, and the brakes in. So this could be quite a challenge, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull it off. Okay, so hear me out. I've got no space at all, right? I need to get the queue over to the station, and I need the exit path to leave the station. So I've come up with another cunning idea. I am going to start burrowing underground. Yes, I'm going to take this roller coaster underneath the path, and I think that way I can be with the great mole people, who we love the mole people, but also we get the coaster to go where it needs to go, which is where the station is. Only problem is, it might look a bit weird. Okay, so now we know. Looks utterly ridiculous. These shops are in the way, the path's too cramped. I don't think this is going to work. I think it's time to go back to the drawing board and refigure out the end of the ride. I completely reworded the end of the ride, right? So now everything is basically completely different, and it is turning out fantastically. But I need to make sure that this park is still profitable. I've managed to fit it all in the football field, but now it's time to squeeze every penny. And what better way to do that than on-ride photos? Yes, I'm going to put down this photo kiosk shop. And because the game is truly incredible, I am now able to connect an on-ride photo point so that every person that rides the ride will have their photo taken on the ride, and then as they get off they can buy the photo, providing that I put the photo in a spot on the track that is excitement levels high, fears reasonable, and nausea is good. So I think we're going to put it at the bottom of the first drop, because that is where the faces are going to be best, and I think that will maximise our number of sales. All I need to do is place down this screen and connect it to the ride, and what it will do is it will then display the photos that have been taken on the ride. I mean, how cool is that? I've wanted that feature since I was playing Rollercoaster Tycoon as a child. Yes, I know, unbelievable. I too am subject to the passage of time. So look how cool this is. Yes, that is live images. Every time the ride goes past, that image updates, and I just think that is such a cool little feature. Just before we ride the rides, let's check in the money department, and oh my gosh, we've made $25,000 in profit. We are absolute giant successes! What better way than to celebrate our successes than to explore the park? Yes, we're back where it all started, the gift shop money funnel. Yes, you're forced through and you have to buy everything you see. And then we've got this little row of shops I added in. We've got the hot dogs, the cosmic cow milkshakes, and chief beef burgers, because we need to make sure we're selling at every opportunity. We've got some golfy vending machines, and we've got the beautiful chair swing here. We also have the gift shops on the way out. How beautiful, fond memories. And it is a little crowded, I have to admit, but that's what we want. Every person here is walking money. I think this park has turned out fantastically. Just look at it, all the dynamics going around, big old wheelie boy dominating the skyline, and our roller coaster Witch's Haunt absolutely dominating. Yes, and of course we've got the ride photos. I love the ride photos so much, they're so cool. What a great addition. And I think the improvements I've made to the sky is just brilliant. The roller coaster above our head, much better than a sunny sky and some clouds in it. Yes, and continuing around, that's our money loop. That's all it is. I've managed to fit a theme park into a plot no bigger than a football field. The only improvement I'd make is perhaps I could add a water park. Maybe for another day. Let's ride the roller coaster. Wow, what a rush! That coaster was fantastic, although it does make me wonder. I wonder what would happen if I made a ride that was deliberately bad.